Okay, let's try out some scrappy music. Monster Cat sometimes just does not play good music. Sorry, I couldn't listen to that any longer. Anyways, we are back, and again, thank you for those who stuck around through the hiccups. I am just so absolute, like, I am 100% going to be downloading OBS Studio as soon as we're done the broadcast today and immediately learning how to use it. I don't think I'd be so mad if I didn't have to pay for this license for XSplit and just have it be such an absolutely horrible program. I posted a post on their technical support forum last night regarding the pauses and the lockups, and I went to refresh it just now, and the post doesn't exist. It's mysteriously disappeared. And I don't even know why they would do that, because like the post had no anger in it. I wasn't spitting vitriol. It was like, hey guy, I showed a screenshot. And I said, hey guys, every time I use the title function, it will sometimes freeze. Do you have any idea what can fix this? So the fact that it's missing actually pisses me off really badly. I'll tell you guys, XSplit was good for some things, but not if it keeps losing us thousands of viewers to needing to restart the stream. I'm very upset with that.
Yeah.
But
so surprising how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah. Well, I've been a real big Team XSplit advocate over the years too, but whatever. Thank you very much to Drophoff. $15 says a small thank you for your great work. Well, you know what? We've got $92 from yesterday. I didn't go drop off yet. Speak of the name. $25 now today with your contribution. So a little over $100 will be dropping into that Match Arena fund. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you don't know what we're talking about, we are forwarding all donations over to the Match Arena Mega Tournament Fundraiser. You should absolutely be sure to check that out over, well, actually just type !mega in chat. It'll directly link you to it. Oh shit! And I apparently got $100 donation on my thing. Hang on, that can't. Is that real? Well, I gotta log in. I did what you did, and I loaded up Microsoft Edge because nobody uses fucking Edge for my Twitch alerts on my channel.
What? Why didn't you just use Chrome or Firefox, which one you're not using now?
Firefox breaks fucking everything I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I've tried clearing its cookies, its cache, its everything. Anyways, just real quick before I read this out, we are waiting on stats. He had to go to the bathroom. It worked out well because of our stream needing to restart. So, yeah, while we get the show back up and running, for True versus Stats, actually, I should update the title of the stream too because it's not Snoop versus Keen. It'll be True versus Stats, then Nurchio versus Alive, then Gumiho versus Neeb. That's the match order left at this point. But Castiana, what the front door? Castiana donated $100 to say, I would have put this to the BaseTradeTV PayPal, but I know you're funneling everything from that to the mega tournament. This is for a trophy / medal / rings for the Ting Open or to help pay for one. I know your XSplit pain. OBS is far superior. Oh, dude, that's cool. That's actually really cool. I mean, I think that actually maybe means we can, I wonder if I get something rushed. I mean, 2 weeks should be time enough, I think, right? If we're not going for something super extravagant. I will definitely, the second we're done with cast today, we will look into this. And Cassiana, thank you for the help with that. That'd be really fun. Be able to get, I'm still feeling the medals, but a trophy of some variety or anything, just something extra, I think would definitely be really cool. So thank you for that $100. That's really awesome. That's really rad. That's above and beyond. And thank you. I would add you to the Stream Heroes list up there. But my fear is that it'll freeze up XSplit again. So just pretend, Castiana, your name is right there under Blacksword, okay? Because it was adding Blacksword's name up there yesterday that crashed XSplit.
Title T.
Title T. Anyways, we are presently waiting for stats. As soon as he's back, we'll get this going, and we'll get into games.
Thank you to Partoof himself for the 41-month resub.
Partoof? For real?
For real, please.
Partoof was like, I think, the second subscriber to subscribe to BaseTradeTV. So I'm glad you've been keeping that chain going, dude. 41 months is a crazy big number.
All right, stats is ready.
Yeah. I like how he says, like, I'm coming, go, go, go. And I'm like, well, just join the lobby. Don't tell us, just join.
Yeah, right?
All right, so with stats finally on board, we're looking to get into the game. Our first map is going to be on Newkirk Precinct, and this is going to be an interesting match. For those who don't know, True is currently in America. He's living in the East Coast, so for the sake of Base Trade TV's pocket, it'd be cool if he wins. But I think the thing that's going to come down to is Stats wins. This ends up being his plan B. Actually, we should probably talk about this in detail due to the recent issue with Solar. I tried to tweet about it too, but just so everyone's in the know of what's going on, we'll do the intros first, then we'll explain the situation with Stats. Because, ladies and gentlemen, here for the round of 8 of the TING Open Season 3, we've got, in the bottom right, the Red Zerg player from the North American groups, Psystorm Gaming's True.
In the bottom left, as the Blue Protoss, he is Stats.
Okay, so Stats is using the TING Open as a plan B in the off chance that he loses his match versus, I think it's Ryong, right, in GSL semifinals. I believe the match is scheduled to play on the 15th. Now, if Stats loses GSL, then he will come to America and play the TING Open. Yay! Providing he wins this match here. So this is a hypothetical where he beats True. Should he lose, or sorry, excuse me, should he win his GSL match, he will cancel on the TING Open, and then what we will do is not automatically revive True, but host a very small bracket featuring all of the losers of the round of 8, giving them all an equal chance to take that spot. So I really hope Stats, this sounds terrible. I would love for, as a Stats fan, I would love for him to win the GSL semifinals and cancel on us to go play GSL finals. But as the Base Trade TV organizer, I hope Stats fucking loses GSL so hard so that we can have him come hang out with us in California.
One was harsher than the other. One had more passion.
one had a lot more passion. It's a fair bias, I feel. But anyways, my point is, we've talked this over multiple times. We've been planning this contingency since GSL finals were announced to conflict with our tournament. So where Solar was punished for forfeiting, Stats won't be, because unlike the instance with Solar in the Korean group, we've had a lot of time to formulate plan Bs around Stats and create situations where we can compensate for Stats. So again, there's no favoritism here per se. It's just we were able to plan around things accordingly. But that being said, again, I really would love to just have Stats actually get through. On the other hand, True might just win this best of 5, which frankly I believe he's the underdog for pretty severely. And if he does, then we don't have to worry about that at all. So those are the two situations we're faced with presently. But you and I made predictions. What did we call for this one?
I think it's Stats 3-1.
You said Stats 3-1. I said Stats 3-0. And for me, a lot of that's based on we just saw True play last night. It was against M. Canning. It was against Neve. You know, there's Protoss all over the place. And we just saw him consistently going for compositions that felt unideal. A lot of emphasis on Lings, unable to force out base trades. I really don't know how he's going to play here against Stats. But it's worth noting that True does have the home server advantage playing on North America, whereas Stats is, of course, playing from Korea.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a 3-0 is not... I'm not going to be like, well, that's just absurd. I think that could be very, very real. I'm just going to give True 1 because, well, it took one from me. And I think there's a couple of all-ins and Ling, attacks that are still going to trip up even the best of Protosses once every blue moon. So if True were to beat Stats, that would blow my mind. That would just be like, well, what happened yesterday? What was it against me? What happened? Or maybe Stats had a bad day. I don't know. We haven't really seen anyone do anything quite yet. Stats just choosing his build, Dark Shrine.
Oh my gosh, I realized I should have given True a point versus Stats at least, because Stats got really drunk at the Base Trade TV house yesterday. And granted, he's had about, I think, 12 hours at least to sleep and sober up for this. Because I did catch him before he went to bed yesterday. So actually, he's probably had about 8 hours of sleep. But anyways, the point of it is, he had a pretty rough day yesterday. We'll see if he's fully recovered or not.
He wasn't as drunk as last time, was he? Last time was
we had a kill Stats train, and I put $25 into it at least.
Of course you did.
And then I spammed Stats emotes until I was worried about getting global timed out on Twitch.
The War Prism is gonna get out here, and Lings do see that exact timing. I mean, he knew it was a Dark Shrine build anyway, and the timings are pretty common knowledge at this point. Reserve players, so around 5 minutes, CTs will be dropped off. If they wait to turn on Archons, well, first of all, he has to warp in 2 other ones, and second of all, that would delay it a little bit. I feel like some Korean Protosses in particular are doing this only 2DT thing initially, and then they'll add on 2 more DTs later, but not like immediately.
It's weird you say that because for me, it all started with Zest and going 4 deep, right? But oh, this ends up costing Stats one of his DTs. Gets about 6 drones though, so I don't know. Not great, not bad.
Well, Zest really, he was the one that did it every single game and was quite good with it too. It wasn't like a problem, but it seems as of the last couple of weeks, we've had, as I said, like I think more Korean players than foreigners, although don't quote me on that. I've been doing the 2 DT warp, and I think just because DTs are so mineral expensive, it allows for a much faster third base, while still doing like a little bit of harassment, like so.
Well, Immortals are a really powerful follow-up when you know your opponent's got roaches. So for Stats, like I actually wouldn't even be surprised if he ended up throwing down like a second robo this early. We'll sometimes see that be the case later on, of course, but right now, emphasis is going on weapon upgrades, getting chronoed out.
I didn't realize how he kind of hid his tech over here.
It's a little bit off to the side, yeah. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember how prudent True was about scouting in yesterday's games.
Well, he was very aggressive with his Ling, so I don't think there's any really early game scouting aside from the Ling drop he did. There's no early overload speed or a lot of suicidal overlords, as far as I remember. But okay, yeah, I was gonna say I'm looking and I'm waiting, and what is that Twilight Council actually gonna research? Because it seemed to be taking quite a while. Plus one already almost about halfway done, but it is gonna be charge, and that will. Well, it's gonna be a lot of damage. I mean, Blink. We saw a lot of good use from Neeb yesterday with Blink follow-up. He also got Resident Glaives every once in a while, but I mean, I'm talking about that on-the-grounds game with Blink was pretty cool. But Charge is going to be a little bit more in your face. Kill you now.
Yeah, I think Charge actually just, it's the blitzier move. Not just because it literally blitzes to the front lines, but it can just come out much faster. Zealots don't require that gas count, so you can just like lay down like gateway after gateway after gateway and warp in after warp in after warp in. But there's actually... Did he... Oh, there's the Warp Prism. I was wondering what happened to it earlier. I wasn't sure if he had lost it or not. I was looking around. I just couldn't find it with the army. But yeah, okay. So the Warp Prism, he'll be good to go. Kind of, I want to say almost like pseudo-fakes taking this base. True knows about the other one, I believe. He's got a... Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's... We'll take the base. Yeah. He's going to break down the rocks with a single Zealot. I mean, he did that push out, but I mean, without Charge, without a lot more Zealots, there's no way that push out was actually going to work. Getting Templar Archives now to get some cheaper Archons in a way. I mean, gas is usually more expensive, but that's something that Stats has been banking for a while, so now it can be put entirely into effective Archons, and his composition is looking pretty good. I mean, this is a straight-up PvZ, so while Stats has been the one being like a little bit of harassment, and we've been focusing on his production, True has just been producing upgrades for this gigantic Roach Ravager army, and Stats has to hold.
Well, this force field. Yeah, he doesn't catch the units. The Immortals are doing a pretty good job fighting the top side, to be honest, and the overcharges are buying a lot of time, but there's still so many Ravagers left untouched through this fight.
That really, I mean, for how big that army was and how small Stats' army was, especially with 3 Immortals, I guess stealing with Link to the top left.
Now there's 6, yeah, there's going to be...
Yeah, the response is actually very nice. I mean, he almost lost a militia before, but even that didn't quite go down and still has a couple more overcharges in her.
The Storm's a really cool follow-up to this, by the way, and we'll talk more on that in a moment. But right now, the emphasis really does go on these Immortals. I love the Archons being dragged onto the front lines. And even if he doesn't drop them here and he just goes to like the mineral line with them, he knows that True's army is all focused right here and nothing looking at home.
It's kind of an annoying feature of trying to get some SimCity around your third base for Protosses. The pylons end up being, killed because of both an overcharge and just depower a bunch of gateways.
It does buy like a considerable amount of time. Like True couldn't just walk to that mineral line. He had to spend so much time fighting. Drones get pulled. That Warp Prism is going to be so important. Oh, he could kill so many eggs here and kill production.
I'm going to go low links. Yeah, it's distracting True as well, so True is kind of not committing here.
What's stats on here? 7 Immortals is a pretty healthy count. I mean, this is off of 1 Robo. This isn't like double producing them. Storm's about to finish up, but I don't actually know. Is there any Templar even? No, so there's nothing here gathering energy. No Storms ready to go. Storms would be so good for all these Ravagers.
Oh yeah, if he had like 6 storms, I mean, there'd be no contest. But his army still is good enough.
Yo, these 2 Archons are seriously like MVPing on the other side of the map. They're taking out queens, they're killing drones, they're distracting all the reinforcements.
Yeah, a lot of reinforcements. It's very important reinforcements. This army here has no Ling, so the Immortals are really going to town. But stats starting to miss macro a little bit. Is banking quite a lot, and a lack of charge lots could bite him in the butt against the now reinforcing Lings.
Well, the big part of that too is not that he was mismacroing per se, but he was waiting for those 4 extra gateways to finish up, because of course he lost most of them that were on the front lines, right? Either way, he does get surrounded. The Immortals though are still pretty strong. Barriers get popped, but the Lings dying.
A bunch of corrosive vials too, though.
Yeah, and with the, well, here comes those Lings. This is that problem. This is where you needed those charge lots. Take out the Lings, so the Immortals could just shoot on top of the Roaches, but the Storms end up hitting a lot of the Ravagers, turn into Archons. I don't know. Stats is on almost no supply. So as cool as this is, I think True might just be overwhelming him.
I think he broke him, and a lot had to do, you're right, with the delayed gateways. 1,200 more minerals in a bunch of zealots right there, and he barely holds, but still holds with 4 bases against 4 and better tech, right? So he would eventually win. Oh, but he realized that there's no Overseer, and these DTs are going to save Stats' life.
For a time, at least. The Overseer does finish up in the middle of the map, so he can't go too much further with them. I like that he immediately makes him in the Archon, though, not wasting any time. Archons on the other side of the map, however, do get cleared up. War Prism could stay and maybe become Zealots, but I think that this game is... Oh, well, we're gonna... What's that meme? Look at the supply?
Yeah, that is, yeah, quadrupling the supply. I mean, yeah, it's all Ravagers and a surround of Zealots to kill all of them, but... Stats.
Wow!
Goes down.
Yeah, True takes the first game, and I'm really impressed by this.
Yeah.
This for me is just one game, though. I don't want to get too excited, because I unfortunately am kind of... I'm not anti-True. I am actually very much happy to cheer for True. But it's just his track record recently hasn't been the greatest. So this for me is a good win for him. Definitely good to see they still got it, so to speak. Because I don't feel like Stats really slacked off a ton that game. It was maybe a little bit different than what we're used to seeing, because Stats has also enjoyed a lot of Stargate play and otherwise. But that was not a game that he was like messing around with. That wasn't like 5 Nexus like goofy. That was actually good play out of True versus good play out of Stats.
I definitely think that Stats' biggest mistake was not rebuilding the gateways a little bit faster.
That I agree with. That watching that mineral count was rough.
Yeah. Okay, well, the next map's going to be Undergrounds.
There's several people arguing about root beer on my timeline right now. I made this joke, of course, saying we treat the Europeans to root beer. Oh. Oh, because, yeah, you got Alicia in the player slot. But yeah, I guess it's still weird for me. I only learned about this about a month ago from Nathanius, that root beer is like not really a thing outside of North America. And I love it. I grew up with root beer, right? You got A&W root beer, you got Barks root beer. It's weird that here that everybody either hasn't tried it or really hates the flavor of it.
I feel like I've had root beer where I can taste what they're talking about when they try and explain why it tastes bad.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had bad versions of everything, but generally speaking, I think root beer is actually a very enjoyable flavor.
I don't know, man. As far as the actual drink itself, yes, but as far as a flavor, well, you know, it's like banana flavored things. Like I love bananas. When it comes to banana flavored sweets, it's kind of like questionable.
Well, what I'm really curious about, to get it one step further, is like, because I know that another uncommon thing are floats. So obviously they wouldn't enjoy a root beer float, but would they enjoy like a Coke float or something instead? You know, cream soda.
It's just ice cream in your soda. Why wouldn't you enjoy it?
That's how I feel about the root beer, Zombie Grub. But okay, we're getting into game number 2. And this guy is actually down in the series to start. In the top left, coming from Korea, it's the blue Protoss Splices Stats.
In the top right, says the red Zerg, it is True.
So we've advertised it, and I was actually just finishing talking to Snoot about talking to, I guess, the Liquid Player Manager about it. For those who don't know what these guys are playing for right now, the trip to California is one thing, but it's not like they've got to pay their own way out there entirely. In fact, thanks to our sponsorship through Twitch, we're getting about $1,500 US we can provide each player, or up to that amount for their flight costs. Ting will be covering the hotels, but of course, more than anything else, it's just we want them there and having a good time. So we should have some other goodies and other things too. But I'm very happy and like prideful that we're at this point in 2017 where we can actually offer these things. Rewind a year ago, this is like 4 months salary just to fly 2 players out. Like, that's not acceptable. So it's really cool that we got these awesome sponsorships rolling, and big thank yous again to Ting for this tournament, Corsair for making all this happen with the live finals at their headquarters, and Twitch being our newest, biggest sponsor has just been... 2017 started off so great. We can only really go down from here if we're going to be honest.
Okay, I don't know if you should have said that there.
Well, see, I was going to say, you heard... Note the hesitation. I was going to say it only goes up from here, but I feel like that's a good way to jinx yourself. So by saying we can only go down from here, as things get better, then it exceeds expectations.
I guess. I just, the game at hand, right? So True did do a all-in versus Neve on this, and it turned into a really cool game.
Yeah, where Neve almost brought it back, too.
All-ins. Yeah. He did a second all-in versus Sempra on this map too. Different matchup, but kind of what True was feeling yesterday. Yesterday, right? Yeah, it was yesterday. He was doing a lot of aggressive Ling usage, a lot of aggressive Roach Ravager all-ins against every one of his opponents. But while yes, that last build was an all-in, doesn't work, kind of screwed out of tech. It was a later one, right? And it wasn't Ling based, which we were. I don't know. I was kind of afraid that True was coming a one-trick pony with Ling all-ins and Ling attacks, because that's what he was doing a lot of last game. But not so much. And True does expand beyond the third and the natural.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so there's some merit to not wanting to rush out that natural. It's close, it's vulnerable to warp prisms, you name it. But by not having any vision of this part of your base is, I'd say, a lot more concerning. Last thing you want to do is let stats start warping in tons of units with no knowledge that they're there.
Yeah, I mean, luckily there's not a lot of PvZ all-ins around a warp prism on 2 bases. There's the Adept all-in that seems to be still mostly ground-based, and then there's the DTs that drop, but they're not an all-in, and they want to be in a mineral line, not warping in the middle of nowhere. So,
well, the thing is, though,
a chance.
Stats didn't see the base down here. If he did, then we could actually start talking about his reaction prompting something like that, opposed to what is standard in PvZ. But because he did not see the base, it's probably safe to assume he thinks the third's up here and not way off in the middle of nowhere. So I don't think we're going to see anything too crazy.
It might be. I mean, True isn't doing anything crazy either, though. Like, this third base being taken out here, he's becoming even a norm in the other matchups as well. Well, not ZVZ, but in ZVT. That is a lot of Lings and an Overlord drop, so I'm not sure that True realized a death attack was on the way. Oh, no, he did. He saw it with the Overlord, that's right. Well, either way, like, he's going to be able to deal with this and then maybe get a counterattack on Stats' third. Well, his Lings aren't quite ready, but Stats just immediately shades out anyway, which is probably safer. Now we have a lot of Lings. A lot of Lings. Stats needs to be very careful, though. It takes his third base.
The Lings actually do catch some of the Adepts. Looks like a couple will die, or at least one goes down before the transfer completes. This Overlord drop's going to be kind of annoying. It's funny, we put a lot of emphasis on talking about stats and a Warp Prism, but kind of neglected the fact that True was actually doing Overlord drops fairly consistently. So while the third's certainly a big distraction, and there's a lot to look at over here, there's nothing defending over here, and these Lings might just run rampant. If they pick off that pylon, it guarantees staying time.
The gross sound.
What, them unloading?
Yeah.
Sliding out the sphincter of an Overlord?
Shut up. Oh god. A Warp Prism does get into that natural base, but Stats is paying attention to his sentries, which he's got to protect. He's actually not using another force field, so he loses one, almost loses two.
This is some mistakes out of Stats, and a lot of it has to do with just lack of vision more than anything else. Like, if he knew this drop was coming, warping in like 1 or 2 Adepts, or even just having the Mothership Core reposition herself for an overcharge, this would have been a lot easier to shut down. But we still don't even have so much as a single stalker being made to push back the Overlord. Sentries pull back anything.
did warp in with his warp prisms. That's probably why he doesn't have any warp-ins. And the warp prism was unable to do much at all. Unfortunately, even though you have these like this nice freebie area to warp in as much as you want, you still, you know, have to eventually you still have to catch the army out of position, which for True, it is out of position right now, killing that the gold rocks. Did I say that? Killing the gold bases rocks, there we go. But it's only also 4 adepts. Like if this was 16 adepts, maybe to get into the mineral line, it's a big problem, but not vaccinated.
So Alaska Winter in chat, by the way, is saying, have we ever considered combining our sponsors to make an Uber tournament? That's kind of what we've done here, though. Like, again, you got Corsair providing the venue, Ting providing the prize pool and the payment for casters and hotels, Twitch helping us out with flights, and then BaseTradeTV doing the casting. I mean, it already is that awesome combination. And the biggest and best part is, all you guys coming to the tournament, you're going to get to attend for free. There's no cost for spectator tickets. There's nothing like that. You can just show up. And on that note, too, type !live finals in chat for information about the Eventbrite surrounding the event. Reserve your spot and guarantee that you get in. But force field's going to go down. That'll actually keep a lot of these alive versus the Lings, but that did burn a lot of force fields before the main fight begins.
He's still got quite a few, and he is dedicating to this attack. It's dangerous considering that True has +1 and Stats does not. He also doesn't have a mothership core in case the force fields do run out, and when they didn't run out, they weren't perfect, so sentries are starting to go down here.
Yeah. He does take a decent army fight, though, as far as trades go. Like, it's coming up on even terms, so that +1 melee is proven to be a little too much to deal with. Choose through those units very quickly. 30 more Lings on the way, and this kind of goes back to what we were talking about for True yesterday, though, where he was just playing, like, really Ling heavy against a lot of the Protoss, and it wasn't working then, but it seems to be working just fine now versus Stats. Kind of funny that it fails against the NA kids, but works against the Korean ones.
Yeah. I mean, Stats is playing a bit different. He's also, like, the Resident Glaives attack was not different. In fact, that's exactly what Neve did, but the follow-up was definitely different. He's also just making mistakes, too, I would say. Like, yep. I think if you do an attack like that, we do see the Mothership Core more often brought along because those sentries are so expensive, and just a little more conservative, too, on how you position the sentries. They were, despite being, you know, near a wall, not actually on a wall and had burned all their force fields. That's
a really good point. I think a recall would have been far more valuable than any sort of overcharge back at home, but we're loading up Banelings on this side because he wants to drop them on top of anything that gets stuck inside that force field donut. On the other side, we do have 3 Banelings and 2 Lings.
Oh, lordy.
He's almost on +2 weapons. +2 would one-shot the probes if he wants to wait that out.
I was gonna say, I don't know, if he had gone in like he was, the Stalkers would have killed it before it reached the mineral line, but True is paying attention.
Yeah.
He's gonna get probably a few kills.
He's going for shield upgrades too, by the way. Where's Pig when you need him? Pig would be really proud right now.
Yeah, he does. Well, I mean, he's also going for just double forward straight up. It's not a case of one over the other, so that's kind of cool too. But shields do help out. We're gonna get a lot of Archons.
Alright, the Overlord's gonna die. That was disappointing.
Yeah.
He wasn't expecting the cannon.
He had waited too. He had waited for +2 and typical hooks. Oh well.
Yeah, for those who don't know the interaction, +2 means the Banelings one-shot probes instead of getting them down to almost dead. The reason you keep the 2 Lings alive in a drop like that is because you're supposed to pick off the ones that are almost dead. So that was just awkward, I think, in terms of timing. But I really like the Banelings in these Overlords. Generally speaking, if this army is going to be super adept heavy or even Archon heavy, they're not going to be reaching out for the Overlords. Force fields will go down, and you're supposed to be able to drop on top of the units that are quote-unquote protected in those force fields.
God, in the grand scheme of this game, despite how True has had these drops and attacks and has cleaned up Stats as attacks, Stats I think is still getting a better end here. Like, he's on a 4th base already, he's getting +2 and shields, and well, he doesn't have any Twilight Council well, okay, I guess he's Resident Glaives. He doesn't have Charge or Blink yet. He's already at a decent supply with a lot of Archons. And True is still massing, well, what you would expect, but he might be going up against a well-prepared army.
He's trying really hard for these Bane drops, but that's like 3 Overlords worth of Baneling drops that have only netted 8 probe kills so far. I commend the efforts, and I truly do like Baneling drops, but they're just not working, and it's pretty clear that Stats is ready and waiting for them.
Yeah. A little bit of counter damage here. I said True is just going for Roach, Ravager, Ling, Baneling. I'm less on the Roach, but still. And it's a composition that can definitely encompass any supply of Protoss and get those good splash hits on a lot of the the army, but
God, this
I
is
gotta
just a
say
lot
stats,
of units.
man.
There's not.
Stats is,
Archons
not
for
quite
AoE
fair.
are okay, but I mean, is this going to be enough? Storms would obviously be best. Colossus would work here too. Disruptor's amazing, but Archons unfortunately just aren't cutting it. There's just so much. Stats
Well,
loses
okay.
everything.
There's more Banelings here. I was gonna say the Zealot Warpins are gonna be very effective against the Lings and the Ravagers.
Oh,
The
double
Banelings
Warp
help that,
Prisms.
but Stats has some counter damage going on. Archons.
Yeah, and you know what?
depths.
True did just spend everything. Like, this
Yeah.
was everything. He's going to remake Lings and he'll make more units, sure, but he just spent so much on that attack. He might not be able to possibly amount the defense he needs. Archon's charge lots, the main is for sure going to get overrun. The question is, can he stop these outlying bases from going down? 2 charge lots down here, a couple of Adepts in this Warp Prism. The Immortals could even move out. True is suddenly finding himself at a pretty harsh loss, despite how wonderful that attack went for him.
Yeah, you know, it caught Stats a little off guard. I think he would have wanted a better position, but True also was just lacking in gas to have
at
a
these
second
charge lots.
attack really already prepped.
These are the dumbest, derpiest charge lots of all time. Alright, so let the Zealots die. Spawning pool, okay, not even going to try to be saved. So that's gone. The Archons
Okay,
lived.
okay.
This base and the gold's denied. True's also going to do some more counterattack damage, though, as he does put Corrosive Biles on the mineral line. Means Stats can't comfortably mine from this, but not so dependent on this base as True is on his outlying bases. I really like the
Stats-
double Warp Prism, by the way. I think this just provides so much extra utility and potential.
Stats still has a very good army, and now he'll have 3-2-1 upgrades, or 3-1-2, I don't know. You don't usually have shield upgrades, so I'm not sure which one goes first. But the point is, it's good upgrades, and a very good army. True could still get a very good surround, and the Baneling Splash could be very, very effective, but it's just becoming less and less likely as the game goes on. Stats even gets a 5th base now. Taking on a couple units with Archons.
These Archons are dealing a ton of damage. I mean, it's only picking off a queen, sure, but you got to consider True doesn't actually have that many queens. There's only like 1 alive. This one just got made recently, so injects are questionable. Larva or creep spread's not going to be there. This Immortal, oh, he's so out of position. I don't know what he's doing.
Oh, I actually canceled +2 shield, so it's 3-1-1, but still. Now he's getting more upgrades.
Is that Immortal? Okay, he's gonna get backed up. You know what? I didn't realize Storm's got research behind this too, so he actually has the AoE now. If True had continued to flood Lings, this would have been not a problem. That being said, Storms are still not going to be too bad against Roaches and Ravagers. Not to mention these Archons still going crazy on this side of the map. Zealots get warped in too. He's probably got to pick that one up. No, he's so focused running away here.
Well, there's another attack with another Warp Prism. He has 2 Warp Prisms here.
Yeah.
So
Stats' present
of
is
tension.
crazy from these 2 Warp Prisms. Income graph, by the way, is just all over the place too for Stats. Ever since he got that first counter off, True's been struggling to get his mining back going, at least consistently.
Oh,
While this
yeah.
goes on, Stats takes another Nexus.
I mean, he's even, oh god, he hasn't taken all of his gases and hasn't saturated the ones that he did take, and he's still a little gas starved, even though he's now used most of his mineral bank. Warp Prisms just can't be dealt with. Queens aren't targeting. There aren't any queens. That's just constant damage that True's gonna have to be worried about, so he'll never push into Stats.
It's interesting that he's been putting a lot of emphasis on Adepts and not continued Zealots. I think Zealots, of course, are not that much cheaper than Adepts, but they are cheaper. Kind of better to throw away in the way he has been, but... Anyways, these Roaches and Ravagers will need to be dealt with. Stats' army's massed up pretty big. He's still down in supply compared to True. Nice snipe on that Templar from True, by the way. But that being said, I think Storm's greater than most of True's army. Archons and Immortals greater than the majority of the Roaches. I mean, it's 56 Roaches. That's why the supply's so big. One Storm, a couple Archon blasts. Who needs Immortals?
Yeah, yeah, that's true, but the Immortals will be the
Oh,
kicker to
boy.
get those last hits, and oh god, True
Take you
tries
to
get a
the
good
car
concave.
wash.
No. This was a bad composition. He also happened to attack in as Stats finished his blink and +3 weapons, +2 armor, so it was all types of bad timing.
Yeah, but he's got +2 armor and the +2 shields, which is really cool to see. So I mean, he's about as well upgraded as you could be. Just get those 3-3 out there, and that's absolutely going to be it. But Corsair Gear's going to try and land. He doesn't quite dodge, but they also don't quite hit, which is kind of funny to see. The Blink Stalker is going to have a lot of sustainability. These Storms don't even need to hit well; they just need to hit. It forces the Roaches to run away, so the Immortals and Stalkers continue to get free shots. Blinks in forward aggressively. True's army was matching him, but no longer. GG. All right, a lot of folks coming in and asking what happened with Snoot series. Thank you guys for the updates in chat. But for those who didn't see it, Snoot did win 3-0 and is the first player qualified over to the offline finals. We've got this match playing out right now, tied up 1-1. We'll be going to a commercial break here in just a moment, but following this will be Alive versus Nurchio, and then after that, Gumiho versus Neeb. We'll see you guys here in 2 minutes. Welcome back to the TING Open Round of 8. Like I said, we got some shoutouts to do, so without further ado, in the bottom right, we've got the Blue Protoss stats. Just tied things up 1-1.
In the top left is the Red Zerg. He is Sidestorm Gaming's True.
All right, so thank you very much to, I don't remember if we did Winderex. I know we did part 2, but just to be safe, Winderex for the new sub, Maurice Moss for the new sub. Why does that name sound so familiar? That's from something. IT Crowd, maybe? I think that's IT Crowd. Maurice Moss, thank you very much for that new sub. Flotch for 12 months says, oh shit, can I get a Zest branded Partoof? Ace Lude. I tell you what, man. If you on your form, go request it. When you get your form, if you request it, I'll make Zombie up write Zest and like Sharpie on your Partoof for you. Alright? On one side of the
I don't
coin.
think it's gonna work, man. It's metal. It's gonna like rub right off.
It's okay, it'll last until he gets it at least, right?
I don't even know, man.
Nervoth hit us up with a 2-month resub, says BTTV hearts need more bad dad jokes though. Oh, you should have been here last night, dude. I had a ton of them. Believe that was a new sub alongside Wani Power. Thank you guys both for joining the Base Trade Brigade. And then Rooks won just now for the 14 months. Yay! And then last but not least, we had Shiz K donate $20 to my PayPal personally, saying keep up the good work. That doesn't happen often. That's 2 donations to my PayPal for probably the first time in 7 months. So thank you guys. I appreciate it, and we appreciate it. But yeah, I don't know. Something about Honor Grounds has been really proven to be magical for Protoss. I saw a lot of discussion and Balance One, of course, in chat about what that last game was. But I think all things considered, if that had played out similarly on any other map, I think it still would have gone in Stats' favor. And not because of his race, but because of his decision making. We got to see, like, you really don't see, like, Todd was the last person I can think of that used double warp prisms, right? On purpose, at least. And it's been a long time since, so seeing Stats use both warp prisms was really cool. And I love just how much that tore True apart.
Yeah, he just could not, for the life of him, get any queens out to even try and target the warp prisms down. And even if he did, I mean, yeah, Stats was doing a decent job of trying to pull them back and keep them on a high ground or find a brush or whatever it was. So, it's a much different game on Paladino Terminal. This is one of the few times you get to see it. That's usually chosen. But it's very, very small map. It makes everything into like an instant counterattack potential that will just kill you if you make one mistake. It's a brutal map sometimes. But oddly enough, sometimes it just plays very normal, which I always find to be the weirdest games. Like, why in the world would you go up to 4 bases on Paladino? Well, sometimes it happens.
Well, what I always find interesting, this was the dynamic we saw when this map was first tested in the map contest, and we've certainly seen it live since then. Where like these 3rd bases and 4th bases, like up here, like these end up baiting some of the worst fights that you could possibly take as the attacker. And I don't like this map for a lot of different reasons, but I do think that's a cool element that we don't see in other maps, where the 3rds and otherwise end up being like a bit of a trap in a regard.
Trap?
It's a trap!
You get a Mega Dog 1324 for the 100 bits. What up?
Hey.
So, oh, damn.
Maurice Moss confirms his name is from the IT crowd. Oh boy, my ear's a little bit warm right now.
So, True is going to go True style. All in with the lanes here, a couple of queens.
I love this though, because you got to consider, look at Stats' wall. If this pylon goes down, it's game over for him.
Harsh. Of course, he's also delayed a mothership core like most Protosses do. I mean, hell, some Protosses even delay it even further, so be thankful it's coming out at all. But there will only be 1 photon overcharge, and you're right, it might not even be on that pylon. If he goes for the main base, look at a very odd situation where instead of landing on top of the units in production and getting like on top of the units individually,
oh, no.
Stats might be able to bulk up and take it on. But
this is actually really good for Stats moving on the map. Like obviously, it'd be best if he was at home to defend, etc. But getting those adepts across the map would also mean True's got nothing to home to defend. But he does pull everything back fully and entirely. He sees 3 overlords. It's true. I mean, I think his style is known at this point. So it's scary, but the mothership core is going to go down. Overcharge goes off, but that overcharge takes care of a lot of lings before she dies. So mission accomplished, lady. Salute.
Yeah. Can Sats hold the front door? Because if the front door is broken, then True probably wins the game. But already placing a pylon, warping in sentries. There's not a lot of lings left over, and Adepts would already be on top of them, so not worth unloading on top of the sentries. And so far, Stats has done a good job.
The speedy overlords though do add an element here where it's not just simply up, like, you know, elevatoring up, but you have to. You got to catch these. You can't just build one stalker and be set like you are in other situations. So he's contemplating what to do with these sentries. He knows he's going to get dropped directly on top of him, so forces are going to have to come down. More sentries on the backside. If he can keep True at the bottom of the ramp, that'd be great.
You could probably even trap those lings in so they can't go to the natural either, and that wouldn't be a bad maneuver.
Actually, yeah, another force field at the bottom of the ramp right now would be devastating. He could pick up in the overlords though,
man, True took forever to send the lings into the natural though, so like.
Yeah, I think he was really like tunnel visioned even on those adepts.
Yeah, this is not working, guys. Like True, he cut so many drones to do this. He has to kill a lot more than just 18 workers, 20
working.
workers.
The overlords are dead too, or they're dying from the sentries rather. Excuse me, but. At the end of the day, the gateways stand, the bases are alive, the main never stopped mining, and this is a great hold out of Stats.
He's perfectly fine, man. I mean, even if he was brought down to a similar worker count to True, or maybe even like a little tiny bit below, he would have a Warp Prism and a lot of Adepts with Resident Enclaves to try and do some counter damage.
That probe that's sitting out here at the third just scouted those overlords moving in before the pylon would have. That was actually huge, so he could reposition himself. But unfortunately, an overcharge is going to be good enough to save this mineral line. He's just got to stack up on the left side. But now aware that his opponent's going to try and split him apart. Stalkers are warped in. We got sentries policing the main. I mean, True's not exactly thriving behind this. You pointed out he cut a lot of drones, but he still hasn't even taken a third, only just now heading over that direction. Queens having been pulled means there weren't a lot of larva injects until these ones got made, and this has just been a failed opening, frankly.
It's a failed all-in at this point. True would have to, I think, repeatedly deny Stats' third base, which is totally possible if Stats was trying to get one, as well as try and get definitely more probe kills by harassing him, but it doesn't seem it's going to happen here. And now Stats is the one that's forcing True to bring his army home. Got War Prism, and he's even got DTs on the way. True is not thinking about a lair. He's got other problems, and he doesn't have any spore crawlers. So this could be a huge problem with the DTs. And even if the DTs didn't do it, just turning them into Archons would still be effective against someone who's only going lings.
Yeah. Thank you, Vegas628, by the way, for the back-to-back resub. 2 months says, did you hear about the cheese factory in France that exploded? There was nothing left but debris. That was a good joke, my friend.
A good joke. Good one.
Really sharp. He's going for round 2 of the drops. I mean, the element of the drops is actually scary. Oh, this is fantastic over here. The element of the drops is definitely dangerous if Stats wasn't ready or prepared for it, but he's got so many sentries, so many stalkers.
Oh no, what do you
It's a little out of position.
Okay.
But being down here to defend his third, he shouldn't take too much from this. Downside though is if True blitzes to the main, there won't be any defense up there. But
well, he doesn't. He decides to just drop on top of the army.
He's gonna catch some of the adepts, but it looks like all the sentries get out of there alive. No force fields really even thrown down out of panic or anything like that.
Guardian shield. Maybe now looking towards that main base.
Ooh.
Not too much anti-air, but still one overlord will get popped off before he reaches. The second one's gonna die as well.
Oh no! High ground vision from the smoke protects it.
Ah, that's what happened. Yeah. That's kind of clutched by True right there, but it's still. I mean, is this really enough?
DTs.
6 drones went down while this happened, and there are those DTs.
GG. Stats. Okay, 2-1. Now I'm taking a lead, but the series isn't over yet. He has to win another game to lock this down. Again, it's a weird pull for me on who wins this one, because again, our life is made a million times easier if True wins. And it's also nice to see True, actually get some victories. But on the other hand, I'm a big Stats fan lately. And I mean, like, this is before his showing at IEM, which just won me over even harder. Did I tell you about the 2 timeouts I got during IEM, by the way?
Yes. Well, you tweeted about it.
Yeah, proudest timeouts of my life for spamming Stats' emotes in the IEM chat.
Yeah, Fungi. It's like a mushroom.
Well, the thing that's really this is such a dumb little thing that no one else I think is gonna experience, but I will be playing co-op or just idling on BattleNet, talking to like sponsors and stuff, and Stats will message me and just be like, "Hey, how's your day?" And I'm like, "Why is Stats messaging me? What the fuck? Like, who's on Stats' account right now?"
So you keep inviting him to stuff.
Yeah, he's a nice, friendly guy. There's a clip of me on, I think it made a Reddit yesterday. When I was on the stream, I was like, "Yo, Jake, tell Stats I said I love him," and Jake's like, "Stats." Freaking says, "Fuck you." And what I found hilarious about that was his response was, "Oh." He wasn't like upset or angry. It was just like confused. Also, for those who don't browse Reddit and YouTube and lurk all the time like I do, the clip that was posted of the police crashing the party was actually posted to live stream fails last night as well by somebody. So that's getting spread around quite a bit. Rip the foreigner house, guys. The dream's done.
Oh well, now yeah. Once you're on that, you just can't go back. Right.
Anyways, things are looking good for this guy. He's up 2-1. In the bottom right, we've got the red Protoss player, Stats.
In the top left was the blue Zerg. He is True.
Now that probe came across the map super early for a scout, and I don't blame him. After that last game, you certainly want to see if True's going to be throwing down anything weird early on. But on the other hand, too, it's totally viable that he could have been thinking about a proxy himself. But Stats doesn't play that dirty compared to folks like, I don't know, Hero and Classic and others.
Yeah, I think he really was just a scout to see if True was going to do anything silly, because True is a Ling-based guy, and early pools include Lings. So it'll be something that that True could throw out, even being down 2 games in a best of 5. He sees that it's not the case, and I feel very comfortable just getting an expansion after that gateway. He's gonna have a wall eventually, anyway. No fear of losing that pylon early. My ear really started to hurt, man. What is that? Why?
Someone's talking about you.
Oh.
Whoever's talking about Zombie Grub right now, please stop. Don't type Zombie Grub's name in chat. Don't be talking about it in real life.
That doesn't make your ear hurt, does it? Isn't that like my...
So it makes it red, right? But so red that it hurts. You know what else is red? Fire. I bet you're feeling pretty warm right now, isn't it?
No.
Oh.
Just painful. It's not like the ear, like not my earbud. It's like the inside, you know, like when you have like a cold or something. Well, anyway.
Tinnitus?
Suck it up. No. Not tinnitus either. Stargate is on the way. It's not proxied, however. True is going to see this. I mean, it's Overlord just running on and doesn't give a foo. Come on, Overlord.
Doesn't give a foolish gosh darn about what's going on.
Doesn't give a flipper on Abyssal Reef.
Oh man, that'd be so cool if there's like underwater skins for units. Like Marines had like an extra oxygen tank or something, or like
this is where I put my skins. If I had any.
If I had any.
Yep.
Hey, it's the cheesy platypus. Thank you,
What's
Queso Platypus. 100 bits is what's for lunch.
Well, not queso. I hate queso.
I'm gonna say Subway. I have a 24-hour Subway,
should I
guys.
get for lunch?
Do you know how crazy cool that is for me? And then Tim Hortons is down the street too. I live in the best place. Seriously.
Do you guys think I could convince my mother to go to Korean barbecue?
For lunch?
Yeah.
Isn't that a bit big for lunch?
No, I really prefer having Korean barbecue for lunch, because then I'm full for the rest of the day, as opposed to like starving myself until dinner. Also, you know, Koreans have Korean for lunch.
Well, that's like in China, is Chinese food just food? Like, this isn't a solid argument. I'm sorry.
That's the reason it is a solid argument. Excuse you.
I guess because I've only really had Korean barbecue like at esports events actually, and it's always been like a dinner thing. So I've never really even considered it being a lunch thing.
Oh yeah, people have it for lunch too. I mean, it really.
I'm wondering, is Korean barbecue like IHOP then? Breakfast for dinner?
Yeah. Well, you could also get like dinner for breakfast at IHOP.
Oh,
you can go
you're right.
get, like,
you can get the
steaks
steaks. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, there. You figured it out. It doesn't really matter what you eat at what time. But anyway. Uh, the nothing too tricky here in this game. Sad to go for the Stargate, but of course to get to a faster third base while still feeling protected. Getting some decent scouting. And True also goes for his third base.
Forge and Robo started behind this wall. It's a little bit of an awkward wall too, but Void Ray's out to cover the base as well. Void Ray's actually a really interesting element here. It's going to be able to fire forever on the Lings. It's not going to be that effective. But if this was Roaches or something pushing, that prismatic alignment would melt. But, wait, I swear I was just looking at where did it go? Oh. It's looking for Overlords. I think you were just here, dude. That's rude.
Oh, this gets a little bit chaotic. A couple pros being transferred, sent to burn their force fields. Oh, okay. Actually getting a couple more sentries is really nice use of the Lings. Okay. 1 sentry, 2 adept. Alright. I mean, it wasn't a lot of Lings, and it wasn't a lot of damage, but it's something for the trade. No Spore Crawler means the Oracle can continue to duck in as long as it has shields. Of course, 3 Queens is still a lot of damage, but plays on the dangerous side. And so be it. We have a pretty quick, fast, those are both the same words, pretty fast Templar Archives.
Pretty quick, not fast, very...
No Mercenary Glaives, no Blink, no Charge, just skipping Twilight Council tech in favor of faster Storm, or just Archons.
I actually would love if this was Storms. Just going back on True in general for a moment here, he plays heavier to Lings and Banelings in this matchup, and I think Archons, as good as they are, Storms washing those Banelings away just looks hilariously overpowered sometimes.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of fickle, because if you get Storm too early and you only have like 2 to even 4 High Templars, and they dodge move out of the Storms, well then that's it. They can't do much else. They're not the High Templars of the campaign, but yeah, if you actually get those nice hits, they'll just completely deter the Zerg player from even trying to attack into you. So might just be worth skipping the Twilight Council attack to get there. I mean, I assume he will get, Blink or Charge or something after Storm, but just mixing up the order might have been a very big surprise to True. There's Charge.
I did want to start talking about the potential of Hydralisks in this matchup, but I suppose with True, it's unlikely we'll see that direction go down at all. But I really like the Storm a lot, and I think that this will pay off way more for him. Not to mention you got things like Immortals and Charge Lots even have the health to eat Friendly Fire Storm if you need to. So just washing those units off of yours, those Lings will dissipate, the Banelings will go away really quick, and this can get really nasty. The one thing is, though, with Storms and Charge Lots, not so great against air units, and True is getting that Spire down behind this.
As well as quite a few Overlord drops. Thank you to Kilmo for the Twitch Prime sub.
Tickle me, Kilmo.
Okay, that's...
I'm gonna murder everybody.
That's more of a man. While the Spire could be a problem, of course, Sats does have a Stargate, so he could start Phoenix production. But, more often, too, it's just a case of a couple of mutas, and you're not supposed to overreact. But you can never quite tell, especially with certain Zergs, if they're going to go for just the 8 to 10 mutas, or if they're going to go for 20.
Well, I feel like True has, you get the little angel on your shoulder saying, don't do it, just play macro. And on the other, it's not True, it's actually Penguin saying, base trade it.
It's literally Penguin sitting right next to him.
Yeah, like...
Do it.
Meanwhile, he's playing like another speedrunner like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or something.
You're right.
The Phoenixes are being made, so I think he knows full well what's going on, and this isn't going to be such a mysterious, like, catch him off guard swamp. But really, this game, I don't think is going to hinge much on that air battle. Not initially, at least. There are so many Lings roaming around the map right now. 165 Zerglings. This is like if you didn't have AoE, I don't even know how you would deal with this, frankly. This is too many Zerglings.
It's too much.
Well, forget what I said about too many Zerglings. Too many Banelings even. 24 being morphed in here on the right side. And while there's some cannons and stasis traps, that's still a lot of Banelings.
Well, he did just put most of his bank into that, so the Spire won't result in many mutas if he even uses it.
Right, there's no supply for it. 177 Lings, 34 Banelings.
My God.
But there's that Storm.
Dear.
That was one Storm.
That. He just had to retreat. This is still a wall off, even if it does lead to the third base. It just won't be worth it. He knows the army's there. There's so many Storms available. I mean, he could dodge and weave as much as he
That was such
want to, but it's like 6 storms.
That's such like a fuck you thing to do with the Overlord.
Why
But it
not?
was a good way to stall out the +3, honestly. We do have drop overlords, so here we go with some of the banelings. They do have +2 weapon upgrades. Keep in mind, so these probes could die.
Well, there's not that many.
Look at that awkward stasis trap, though.
Yeah. So, True has to get rid of supply here. I mean, I think there's legitimately a moment where you have a Spire, you have Lings and Banelings, and you see that they have Storm and Phoenix. You're like, well, shit. Like, what do I go into?
Yeah.
So there's probably a bit of that, but also, of course, just being supply blocked, supply capped. He needs to use these, but he can't just give them away, or stats will counter. And I'm not even sure what the Corruptors are going to try and do. I mean,
the stasis trap actually ends up hurting him there. Although it looked like the storm was still ticking through it. I'm not sure if that was right or not. They may have just been like a millisecond of residual difference, but yeah, you're not supposed to be able to damage use it. That's for certain. Anyways, charge lots are not going to hold the wall long against banelings, but they soak the banelings.
Oh, good. Templar on the way out. Makes a little bit more worth.
Yeah, but still, both of these attacks look like they have been shut down. 11 probes die. Okay, kind of sucks, but both players are in such a good macro game right now. That's not that big of a deal. Thank you, Master Trax, for the Twitch Prime sub. Now those
the
like
DJ.
Yeah, you laying down DJ tracks, or you building a train rail? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! These Templar were not paying attention. Oh, those banelings were huge.
And an Archon.
That was a really, really good attack, though.
It was, yeah. I mean, stats is still upgrading, and while his army composition had reached high tech very quickly with that Storm and Templar Archives, he's just building a bigger and better army with every passing minute. So even if the loss of Archons or either High Templars, it's still, a case of Blink Stalker, Archon, Storm with +3 against still only Ling Baneling.
But True is transitioning out of it into something interesting with the Lurkers, and I don't know if he'll get to them. If he does, that could shake this game up pretty massively. But that being said, the amount of Immortals and Archons out, I don't know how big of a deal Lurkers will be.
Just eat the Banelings.
We got Penguin in chat saying, oh shit, they caught me. It was him all along. Storms aren't really hitting much. Actually, these storms are pretty lame. Left one's pretty good. The right ones don't catch much. He just washed these Lings off, though, like it's nothing at all. The Archons may die through this, and True will actually hold on, but this was such a costly defense out of him. Look at the resources lost to make this happen.
And while True was banking a lot of minerals and gas, he just doesn't have enough larvae.
Yeah, that's another problem, too, for sure. These Zealots also cleaning up another Queen, some more Lings going to go down. I mean, this is... It's so weird. We're close to True getting Lurkers out, right? The Hydras are on the way. The Lurker then is done. But I really don't even know if Lurkers are going to win this. Phoenix were made. You can always just lift them out of the ground.
Yeah, it'd be worth even if the Corruptors end up killing the Phoenixes.
But are they? Because you got Archons, right? Like, you can't, even with that new acceleration and movement speed, you still can't fly over Archons.
Yeah. Well, it looks like a very small Protoss army. It is still a very powerful one.
Yeah. Supply counts are pretty close. +3 weapons, though, in Storms are what really makes me favor stats for this. Charge lots in the front line. Oh, no. That was like a really bad version of the Legacy of the Void cinematic. Forget Lurkers, though. They are going to do a little bit here as there's no detection. But the main army, Hydras were killed. Lings are dying. Storms are not quite good to go just yet. So he's going to make Archons out of this. Not bad. Oracle is rushing forward for Revelation. Doesn't get it, though, so still no detection for those Lurkers. And stats actually can't push forward. True's Lurkers will buy him time.
Just go around.
I mean, I'm kind of in that same boat here, but it's, yeah.
Well, once Stats realizes he can go around. I mean, you saw 4 Lurkers. What if they have 4 more on the top of that ramp? You don't know because you don't have detection. But once he realizes, he might try and force his way up there. Or just drop and wait a little while. That's totally fine, too. Now he does have 2 observers.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, he's not building any, so he must be bringing some to the front lines. Just didn't see the movement on the minimap. But I guess that's the point. You're not supposed to.
Oh, they're invisible. My God.
Well, if they're invisible, why can they be killed?
You can kill invisible things. You just stab everywhere.
No. I'm pretty sure if something's invisible, it can't die.
You're going to be very disappointed whenever you become the Invisible Man. You can't touch me. You can't touch me. Oh, God. He knifed me. This game isn't over yet, but True is taking a lot of damage in that main base. Loses the Baneley Nest, which he has been relying on pretty heavily.
This warp into the main's pretty crazy because it comes with Templars, so it's not only new Zealots but also new Archons. And while the Lurkers are still proving to be an issue, True's going to lose that Hive, and that's going to be some pretty hard tech to replace. 15 drones died on the other side of this. All those Archons finish up. Whoa, no. And that Lurkers, those Lurkers, they're not in range. They get in range, only to get killed. First drops on this side, more warp ins coming in. Stats is running crazy rampant over True.
Tap out time, man. Down to 34 drones, 24 army supply, all Lings too, so not too impressive except this one Lurker. Go to town, Lurker. GG.
Okay, so first off, congratulations to Stats, but I really want to explain how this is going down again, because Stats doesn't play his GSL match, so I think it's the 15th. It's either the 15th or the 18th, one of those 2 days, which is cutting it close. But the way this will work is on the 15th, if Stats wins GSL, he will forfeit Ting, and the 4 players who lost today will be invited back to play a mini micro bracket to take his spot. Hopefully that's not going to be the case. I hope he loses GSL as the BaseTradeTV organizer, but as the Stats fan, I really hope he does well in GSL and that he does end up canceling on us. So either way, I would like to point out that you were right in your predictions, the 3-1. Nice call.
Yay! Winner. Do I get a chicken dinner? No?
That's up to you. I guess, are you going to Korean barbecue?
Where do I get some bits here? Thank you to Queso Platypus. Another 105 bits. What's your favorite type of cheese? I'm going to go with...
Oh, jalapeno.
Well, it depends, I think. Because it's like on sandwiches or on a baguette.
So here's the thing. I hate jalapenos. I hate spicy food, but jalapeno cheese is like my favorite. Also, I can't really eat cheese because I'm lactose intolerant, so there's that too, but you know, whatever.
Yeah. For sandwiches, it's Munster cheese. And for like baguettes or like crackers, I think it's...
Actually...
maybe Gouda?
I'm going to retract my statement because Kraft singles, well, absolutely garbage plastic that they are, make for some of the best sandwich cheese if they're melted.
Kraft singles is just not... They shouldn't really be called cheese. It is such a different taste.
It's a different taste and substance, absolutely, but they make for just absolutely the best grilled cheese, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, next up is Nerchio versus Alive. And they're both here. Yay.
Yeah, so best of 5 Nerchio Alive. We will go to a commercial break. Games are still going to play out on North America as it is the middle ground, but we will offer them the option of server swapping if they want to do that coin flip. But chances are they'll want to just stay on NA. Either way, we do have some sponsored ads we need to play from Ting. So folks, please enjoy. If you don't care for the ads though, you can probably safely take a 5 to 6 minute break before this next series gets going. So thanks for watching. We hope you guys will stick around. But